is George Moulos from E-commerce Brokers, and in this video we're going to talk about the two main online business selling marketplaces on the internet, Flippa and Acquire.com. So there are a lot of other marketplaces and I'm going to dive into those in other videos, but in this video I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of these two marketplaces and the new updates on these marketplaces. As I mentioned, I'm George from E-commerce Brokers, where we help people buy and sell millions of dollars worth of online businesses over the last 11 years. As I mentioned, these two marketplaces, Flippa and Acquire.com, are the go-to marketplaces for buying online businesses. Now, they aren't lauded as the best places to buy online businesses. Of course, there's brokers like myself to go to buy online businesses, and of course, sellers can go direct or buyers can go direct to sellers. But marketplaces are usually the first kind of place a buyer will go to, as they are relatively well known. Flippa's been around for over 15 something years now. They're the oldest marketplace specifically for online businesses. They have been around for so long, which means that they have a lot more data than the other marketplaces. Acquire.com, on the other hand, which changed its name from MicroAcquire, they have been around, I think, for 3 to 4 years. And they really came to prominence during COVID and the e-commerce boom that happened during COVID. That being said, Acquire.com or MicroAcquire brought in a very different method or structure to buying online businesses in the marketplace model. They came in and they said, hey, we aren't going to charge any commissions, no fees was their big thing they have on their website. I think they still do actually. And they said, we're not going to charge fees to the seller. The buyers are going to pay. The buyers are going to pay $300 a year. Now that $300 turned to $500, turned to about $700 or so. And we've used the program, so we can report back on that. And look, there are some decent businesses on there that are, of decent size. There's a lot on the lower end, which is normal for any marketplace, but there are some gems every now and then. Mainly startups and SaaS businesses. Startups and SaaS businesses as opposed to D2C Shopify or Amazon businesses. Definitely not any real agencies. That being said, their model was interesting as it put the onus on the buyer to pay instead of the seller. Now they've actually just brought in that the seller will pay a commission of 4%, which is roughly what Flippa does. So really they came in as this different type of business model, but now they've just kind of moved back to the standard marketplace business model, which is charge a commission or an upfront amount to the seller, but they've actually just done the same thing as most marketplaces, charging commission on the sell side, but on top of that, charging buyers on the buy side. So they've taken a bite on both sides, which I guess makes sense. They're monetizing, right? The UI UX has changed over time. I think it was better before, to be honest. You could just click on a bunch of listings, open a few tabs and take a look at them. Whereas now it's a bit more difficult to look around the website. The challenge sometimes is even just finding where the messages and notifications are. Flippa is kind of the old school, go-to website. So everyone does know about it, which means a lot more sellers know about it, which means there are a lot more listings there. Ultimately for sellers too, there's a lot more buyers there as well. I've listed on Flippa.com and I've listed on Acquire.com, and the inbound leads on Flippa is significantly more. They're better usually as well. Of course, there's a lot of spam that happens with marketplaces. So my final 2 cents on the Flippa and the Acquire.com war that has been going on over the last few years. I think ultimately for a buyer, take a look at both. Obviously, take a look at both. You're going to find different listings on different platforms. Sometimes they're the same listings on both platforms. That being said, keep an eye on both. On Flippa, it's free to view as all the listings. On Acquire.com, I believe it's a couple $100, even $700 is what we pay to view all the listings. As a seller, to be honest, my preference goes towards Flippa. And yes, I've sold millions of dollars worth of businesses on Flippa. I've tried to sell on Acquire.com and just haven't found as much success. But I didn't get paid by Flippa to say any of this. I paid Flippa referral commission actually. So it's the other way around. But those are my 2 cents. And look, ultimately, my opinion is that marketplaces, being better and, providing better resources for the market is a really fantastic thing for buyers, for sellers, and for the marketplaces themselves. They help us, brokers, buyers, and sellers of online businesses, sell our businesses and find great buyers and find great sellers. So I think they're doing a fantastic job, to be honest, both of them. My preference leans towards Flippa at the moment, but MicroAcquire has a pretty good team on their side, and Flippa is continually updating their tech and the UI UX and their vetting. So I'm actually interested to keep up to date with what's happening, and I would love to know what you guys think. Now, of course, I am a broker, e-commerce brokers. We are a brokerage. We help on the buy side and we help on the sell side. What we do a little bit differently is we actually specifically identify the acquisition criteria of our buy side clients and go out and find it. Sure, we use these marketplaces and we use a ton of other marketplaces and we use the other brokerages and our relationships with other brokerages, and we have inbound leads to our brokerage for sellers. But we actually specifically go out and talk directly to sellers who have not even expressed an interest in selling, but we bring them to the table. So that is our buy side program. If you're looking to sell or buy with us, of course, visit our link in the description below and let's get in touch. Let's have a chat. So that's that, and I'll see you in the next video.